of the GHA team, I welcome you all for today's roundtable on Indian healthcare education, poised for the future, ready for the world, and GHA STEP PG app launch. I welcome you all once again. So before we begin the proceedings, it's always customary that we have a lighting of the lamp to start off the proceedings. I humbly request the dignitaries to kindly come up and light the lamp. I request Chairman Sir to kindly come forward. Dr. Ramesh S. Bilimaga Sir to kindly come up. Dr. K.S. Najesh Sir, as well as Sir from Dr. Naveen Thimmaiah Sir to kindly come up and light the lamp.
Sir, come that side. Sir, if you understand.
Let's start off with a round of introductions of our distinguished dignitaries. So, starting off, we have our Executive Chairman of FMGE Enterprises as well as GHA, Dr. B.S. Ajaikumar Sir. Dr. B.S. Ajaikumar is a pioneering oncologist, entrepreneur, and healthcare visionary who has transformed cancer care in India. Having graduated from St. John's Medical College and trained at premier institutes in the US, including the MD Anderson Cancer Center, he returned to India to establish Healthcare Global Enterprises that we know as HCG, which is a pan-Indian network of advanced cancer centers making quality care accessible to both Tier 2 as well as Tier 3 cities. As chairman of GHA, he champions skill-based, tech-enabled medical education, also leads Invigna AIF2 Fund, which is a doctor-led private equity fund focused on healthcare and life sciences. He is also a recipient of numerous leadership awards, and Sir is also a social entrepreneur deeply committed to community development and public health advocacy. I welcome you, sir, onto the stage. Can we have a big round of applause, please? Welcome, sir. Our next dignitary is Dr. Ramesh S. Bilimaga Sir, who is a radiation oncologist at HCG. Sir is a very highly experienced and passionate radiation oncologist with more than 45 years of expertise in this field. He's one of the senior radiation oncologists at HCG network. He's very well versed with high conformal radiation therapy, techniques such as IGRT, IMRT, SRS, and SBRT, and is a certified cyberknife specialist. We are privileged to have you here with us, sir. I welcome you onto the dais for the roundtable. Our next dignitary is Dr. K.S. Nagesh Sir. He's a dental surgeon with an MBBS in oral medicine and radiology. He's a retired dean at RV College. He's a renowned dentist with over 43 years of experience, having obtained his Master of Dental Surgery in Oral Medicine and Radiology as well as his BDS from Bangalore University. Sir is also the former chairman of the Ethics Committee of Human Subjects at NIMHANS and has received the prestigious Doctor of Science honoris causa from RGHS. I welcome you, Nagesh sir. Kindly occupy the stage for our roundtable. We have with us Dr. Naveen Thimmaiah Sir, who is a director at Kidwai Memorial Institute of Oncology. With a specialization in radiation oncology, Sir has served as a professor and head of Unit 3 at KMIO since August of 2017, contributing significantly to both clinical practice and academic leadership. SIR's research includes brachytherapy, radiobiology, and radiation therapy, with a focus on improving treatment outcomes in oncology as well. Having authored many publications shows that he's very interested to advance cancer care. Along his clinical endeavors, he's also a very big part of community outreach programs, especially for early detection of cancers among rural women, along with also setting up camps for cervical cancer as well. Now, SIR's career reflects a broad sense of clinical excellence, research acumen, and a strong commitment to community service. We're privileged to have you with us, sir. Kindly occupy the stage for our roundtable as well. So, before we begin the proceedings, we'll just take you through what is the preamble for this. I request Anita ma'am, who is our Managing Director, to kindly give us the preamble. Over to you, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for each one of you to be here. Dignitaries on the dais, I'm so very grateful to have you here. Of course, we were looking forward to have a couple of Vice-Chancellors additionally who couldn't come due to unavoidable circumstances. This event or this thought process is kind of a small gesture or small dialogue that we want to start looking at healthcare education and the way India is poised to look at healthcare education. In our thought process, we believe we can be the world's medical classroom. Having some of the best leading faculties with us, having the best infrastructure today, we really look at this. Dr. Nagesh will remember about 10 years back, we looked at India as a healthcare destination. So we were welcoming patients from all over the world to come to India for treatments. And today, again, we meet for healthcare education. So I'm sure we believe that we have the required ingredients to make India, poised for the world. And this whole dialogue today is going to be a small beginning for this dialogue. Having said that, we just went back to look at some data. So what we found out is that there is outward migration of students who are going abroad after their MBBS to study in other countries. We looked at what is the one destination that most of us want to go. We looked at US. And if you look at it, we came to know that more than 331,000 Indians went abroad in the year 23-24 just to study abroad. And what did we contribute to the US economy? Close to about $47 billion we contributed to the US economy. Having said that, we all know that India is looked up by 78 countries for healthcare, and I'm sure the same 78 countries can look up for healthcare education as well. So that's the beginning of this conversation. Can we look at reverse student migration? Can we position India as global medical education and a healthcare hub? We took some inspirations internationally. We thought, let's see how other cities in other countries are doing. So we went back to US again. Houston, we all know, is again attracting a lot of medical students. So we looked at Texas Medical Center in Houston. It has 60 plus institutions under its fold. It has more than 50,000 students and over 10 million patients a year. So students get access to treat these 10 million patients, which gives us a great confidence in practicals as well. Close to $25 billion a year is what it contributes to Houston's GDP. Isn't it a good number for all of us to really take it seriously? Of course, there is always disparity for student tuition fees who come from other countries, and it's a good 60% up. So locally, students get fees which I'm sure it is the same here as well. So what do we take away with this kind of an example? Can we look at integrated medical education, which will give us good jobs and a good GDP growth? So we get students from these 78 countries as well, other than India, to look at India for healthcare education. The second example we looked at is MIT, and I'm sure that's another university most of us would like to go. About 12,000 students a year get to MIT. They focus on tech plus biomedical research plus global partnerships. So there is a lot of emphasis that is going on these subjects. Are we there? Can we get there? Spin-offs, industry collaborations, and high student quality. So basically we are looking at students who, we look at the start line as always. So the takeaway from here is how do we embed innovation and research in our MBBS program and global relevance, and I'm sure Dr. Ajay is going to touch upon the topic of research because it's his favorite subject as well. Now looking back to our own city, can India can Bengaluru be the emerging medical education hub? We have more than 30 plus fantastic universities out here. How do we optimize? How do we come together so that we can serve the world? We are at the moment servicing 20,000 students, and as we have a large number of students here, I would like to tell you that the curriculum that we have is truly global. What are these little things that we can probably look up? We really need your feedback, so we have a lot of questions and QR codes in the seats front of you. So we want your take as well. So we want to tell you studying healthcare in India is a really, really good thing. So again, one another good thing is we treat 2 million patients. That means you get a lot of hands-on training. So today at GHA, we get a lot of requests from Canada and other countries, developed economy, for hands-on training, because they don't get that kind of patient numbers. Can we do that? Can we be that? Is that what we could look at? And you have that advantage being in India. So this will, in economics, this will impact us with $2 to $3 billion a year, which is really good. So can we again looked at the Indian economy? Can we look at generating anywhere between 3 to 5 billion, which is, I think, very, very possible. Can we look at great employment opportunities, for our direct and indirect jobs? Can we reverse brain drain? Can we hold on to our talented students to be back here in India? Can we boost medical tourism, get more and more patients from all over the world who are actually looking up to India today? And at the end, what do? We become a diplomatic capital as a soft power, and while we train global doctors, not just doctors for India, doctors for the world. So that's the vision that we are looking at, at the end. Can India is it an ambition that we all can get to? Can we be the medical classroom for the world? Is our syllabus truly global? Is our syllabus having things that we need to probably have it in our this thing? Do we have enough clinical training? With 1.4 billion people, I'm sure we have great access to clinical training. The economic engine, which can be fueled by healthcare and education. This is what we are kind of looking at as Vision 2030. As you all know, this little dialogue is just not about producing doctors. It's about healing the world and empowering India's growth through minds, medicine, and meaningful global partnerships. Over to you, Dr. Ajaikumar, to go ahead and moderate this session for us.
Yes. Then I'll ask the panelists.
Hello. Good afternoon, and welcome you all, and thanks, Anita, for a lot of thoughtful presentation. You have really brought a lot of things together. And how much time do we have? 45. So in the 45 minutes, we will ask the panelists also questions, and we will have some questions from the audience also.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes, sir. So all of you have a QR code in front of your seats. So just take out your phones, and then you can scan the QR code against that specific question. So it opens up another page wherein you answer yes or no, and then we can see your response to that specific question. And the distinguished guests can also have a discussion about your thoughts and how they look at the same question as well.
Yeah.
So if all of you just open it up and just answer, it'll hardly take a few seconds. Yes, sir, please.
So I think just to set the stage, maybe first few minutes I'll say a few things and ask panelists also to make initial remarks before we open up these questions. One of the things, having graduated a long time ago from St. John's 75, immigrated to US, one of the things I found out even at that time, how good our basic knowledge was. See, one of the main ideas as medical students, sometimes we don't recognize our services. I think we are very well trained in India in basics. We are extraordinarily good in clinical acumen. We know how to make a diagnosis. So when I went to US, one of the things was when I started my practice after my training, one of the things they appreciated was how good you were as a clinician. Not as a researcher, not academic, but clinician. We were basically clinicians were very good. And with that knowledge, of course, there was like what Anita said, a lot of people go abroad seeking higher knowledge, higher things in terms of research, academics, postgraduate training, the technology. So it was rather common. But now, when we come to 2025, it is important to understand where we are in this world of medical education. Are we really moved ahead of basic clinical knowledge? Are we becoming a country centric of high in academics and research? I think this is one of the things. And what is it in the medical college today we lack? What is it we need to improve on? How do we motivate people to go into areas like research, academics? Should the medical college today, I am posing a question, you should also answer that. Should you have MBBS PhD programs, MD PhD programs? So if you are interested in very basic science, you can do along with your MBBS degree. In US, I know they have not only MD PhD program, they also have MD engineering program, where they inculcate technology as part of your thing, and you get a degree in both. So computer science, lot of things. Because in the age of technology, should we have all this knowledge to pursue what you like in terms of innovation? Are we lacking innovation today? So these are some of the things I think we should debate and discuss. And what is choking our system? See, same people, doctors who are here, same doctors go there, you go to major centers, whether it is MD Anderson, Sloan Kettering or Mayo Clinic or anywhere, you see significant number are Indian doctors doing phenomenal work. Why is it in India we don't assume that we don't have this opportunity? What is lacking? What is choking our system? I think it's we should debate this. And as youngsters, you also should come up with answers for this. Because India has tremendous brain power. Our IQ is a lot better, I know, than majority in the world. We have shown that historically, we are showing it even now. If you look at major companies like Microsoft, Google, World Bank, or IBM, all are Indians who are leading it. There is a saying in US now, if an Indian is not leading a group, that company will not do good. So, we have so many things going for us. We should really think about this. In medical field, we are very good. So let me pose this question to all of you. What do you think is truly, very briefly, is lacking? How do we make a change in this? Dr. Naveen?
Good evening. I totally agree with you, sir, for all the comments what you made. And India has been and is still a hub of clinicians. Because the number of cases, what we see, the number of clinical exposure, what we have in India, and compared to the Western world, we are far, far, far ahead. As you rightly said, there needs to be certain innovations. I totally agree with you at the MBBS level itself, because most of us, we pass out, for example, if you take an Oncology itself, most of us do study a part of malignancy as such in MBBS curriculum, but how many of us have really seen a radiation oncology machine or the procedures of chemotherapy being given? So, as you rightly said, this is where we lack basically. One is, we are not, I think, as of now, we don't have a holistic approach as such in the Indian system. That's where we are lacking. And the other thing what I said is actually sensitizing these youngsters to the overall growth, like what we are, when we compare to the Western standards. when we compare our learning and their learning, there is a gap, because their way of teaching, their way of putting a clinical presentation or a clinical scenario is totally different. Yes, we diagnose, but we have our own method of methodology of diagnosis, which is totally different from them. Probably that is where we need to focus more. This is my view for your first questions.
Ramesh,
Yeah.
also maybe you can touch on why we lack in research. What is your view?
Yeah, yes, Ajay. In fact, really, just before that, interestingly, the more you start not talking about it, the curve here started increasing. It was from 25, it went to 29. That really stimulated the audience. There are many things for us to discuss. Yeah, I will start the research work that you have taken it first. I know that it's a very, very passionate about it. We as a clinician undoubtedly we are really good, and our first answer is on that. But as the days went by, years went by, and the technology also improved, and we started looking at it. Then we realized, yes, we really lack in the research and looking at what next can we do. And that is the way the research comes into picture. And that was virtually very, very negligible portion that we had in the beginning a few decades ago. But at least now, in every institution, it is increasing, but not to the proportion as expected. So if the number is going up, probably I feel it is in that region and we are really lacking. Not in technology probably we are really catching up very fast, and even clinical work, and not really bad, but in research, certainly we do lack quite a lot, and that is an area which is a blind spot for us, which is not in India.
Dr. Nagesh, as a senior doctor, physician, the medical colleges today, how do you think they are overall? Like we talked about this whole aptitude, motivation, high quality outcomes. What is your view?
Of course, now the government has started medical colleges in each district headquarters, which has given really impetus for the students to join the government colleges at highly subsidized fees, especially the meritorious students. But what is lacking, having worked in Rajiv Gandhi University as director and also as a syndicate member, is too much of rigidity in our setup. Earlier it was MCA, now it is MMC. But I don't think there is any visible shift in the attitude of the MMC towards the medical education. Because even to bring about a change in the syllabus, it takes a very long road. The universities should be given, the institutions should be given a sort of flexibility to have the rearranged whatever the syllabus, curriculum, apart from what is laid by the statutory bodies, so that we can attract the students. We can also get ideas from different countries, what is going on, and imbibe those things into our curriculum. That's the only thing where we can attract our students and also improve upon the quality of the training. And this needs to be addressed by the university authorities and the National Medical Commission and the Government of India, unless we have come out of the rigid notions and be flexible, accommodative, and bridge whatever the gaps is there, rather than putting the walls within us. I think it will go a long way in attracting the students to the medical education towards the quality doctors.
If I may add to research what you were saying, sir. Yes, I am seeing that 75% of the polls is we do have a right aptitude, motivation and support is there. Because as now when it comes to research and search, now most of the medical institutions are, as rightly pointed out, I agree with this poll, I think from the youngsters, because most of, like us before, we never knew about research in the beginning, but now because of the amount of internet usage, the content available, its exposure, it's very high. So I agree with this poll of saying that there is I surely agree that there is a right aptitude and motivation is there for the students, and of course, I think we should have much more support.
Good. I would like now, all of you have seen the poll. Maybe we can ask one of the persons who said yes to this to stand up and say a few words on this. Anybody, any volunteers? Nobody?
No, whoever has said yes, it's okay.
Yes, it's great motivation and all. Please, somebody can stand up. What about anybody who says no? What about those who are not agreeing? Maybe there at least you can make a point. Why? Or we can pick somebody. Maybe one person. Huh? Why don't we pick someone?
Sorry to interrupt. This is exactly where we lack. This is the difference between us and the Europeans or the Westerners.
Okay. Why don't we say from the last bench, middle person there, on the right, left hand side. Okay? Everybody looking at the back. Stand up now. That's why we picked the last bench. Okay. That person with I think you have glasses. You're looking at me. Okay.
Anita, you are close to door. Close to door.
Can you stand up? One of them, anybody. Nobody wants to say anything.
Yeah.
Actually, we request you to say because it gives us a lot of insight into what you really think. Yeah.
Just identify yourself.
I'm Dr. Shivanand. I'm an Associate Professor of Psychiatry from JSS Medical College. As you rightly told, we are all good clinicians. But the point is, in the first year, when I joined MBBS, I never liked anatomy. It was really troubling me. But I had a lot of interest in some analysis. So there was no opportunity for us to explore what we want. Current generation, they are really sharp. The point is, they don't want these mundane things to be taught again and again. But if at all we catch them young, at the end of first year, at the end of second year, if at all we ask them, what is your research interest? We nurture that from the beginning, because only when we come to our MD, we have a thesis, then we are exposed to research. If at all we start them from the at the end of first year, second year, I have guided so many students, they have their own interest. Instead of coercing them with our own topic, asking their choice of topic and nurturing would lead to good motivation, aptitude, and we can have a high quality outcomes.
No, actually you make a good point, because I recall when I was in University of Virginia, there was a heart lab, animal lab, and students who are interested in cardiac at the clinical level, third year or so, would be asked to spend 2 to 3 hours there every day, like for 4 to 6 or so. So it was an amazing thing. They would take out big hearts, do work on that, do things, and their mentor was a cardiac surgeon. So that kind of opportunities do we have in India now in medical colleges? I don't know. Any one of you spend time in the lab? You don't. You? Huh? Nagesh, please.
I think I'm Dr. Nagesh. Again, I think I would want to answer both yes and no. I'm also the syndicate member of Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences, and I've worked in most of the institutes in the country. It's part of trying to explore what to do in life. Coming to yes, of course, last 5 years, Government of India has been investing a lot of money in research in terms of ICMR, in terms of compulsorily making skill labs compulsory, making cadaveric labs compulsory in most of the medical colleges, and also university, for example, Rajiv Gandhi University, as the sir said, now we have changed, and then last 5 years we have tied up with IASC. The reason is, because this answers no also, the reason is, we are 75-year-old country now after independence, and medical education is about 50-year-old. First 20 years, we had great researchers, great scientists, great teachers. because we had few medical colleges, there was focused education, focused mentoring. In last 25 years, somewhere in the speed of making healthcare accessible to everybody, we unscientifically increased number of seats, number of colleges, and we just thought of covering this country clinically with primary and secondary healthcare. So we forgot to mentor. So the teachers who have been mentored in the last 25 years really lacks those seeds of research. When you don't have a teacher with research, now with the university, last week we had a syndicate meeting. We wanted to give 60 lakhs to any researchers coming forward. There are a lot of them coming and raising hand. And then we just told them, you have to publish in an index journal like 1. And then your head index should be at least 5. Except for pharmacologists, we don't have anybody else. So that is where because we really lack. I think it's high time that we start creating those teachers who have research bent of mind. And thanks to IISc, I think they're coming up with this MD PhD, with undergrad and MBBS PhD. I think earlier we never had money to do this. Now we have a lot of money. We have to create those genes to take it forward.
Very good point. Thanks. So essentially, what you are saying is we should create centers of excellence, which will do a lot of this research, even though there are smaller institutions to do primary and secondary. That is maybe the way forward. And hopefully, that is the way we think. We can put the next question.
Sure. I request every one of you to use your phone and just scan the QR code in front of your seats.
Do our medical colleges have the necessary infrastructure, mix of academic, industry, faculty, labs, classrooms, simulation centers, libraries, and digital tools to deliver world-class MBBS education? Now, very quickly, maybe we have the poll.
Yes, sir, Justice.
Okay. We partially went over that in the first one. But, we'll see what the poll says. So, majority are saying no, we don't have. So, or is it equal? It's changing. Yeah. I think it is exactly what you said, Nagesh. It's, people do agree that majority, we do not have this kind of centers, which we need to. Dr. Nagesh, can you comment on that poll?
Actually, I think the statutory authorities, they stress too much on infrastructure, means the building, rather than what is there within the building. You should have a good faculty, you should have a good...
we should have 50 acres land.
50 acres of land. We should have so many beds.
50 acres of land, empty hospitals.
Yes.
In order to fill the patients,
you
I have
transport
got to
them.
know you all have to make up patients also.
Yes.
You know, right?
Yeah, so instead of stressing more on that, we should have world-class laboratories, skill labs, classrooms, and also we can also think of, because they say that other day Dr. Gangadhar, who is the chairman of NMC, good friend of mine, I was talking to him that you should have, as you put it, center of excellence. You identify certain institutions as center of excellence, give them a grant to carry out the research, to have the primary MBBS training. And also, they say that we have shortage of faculty. Why not you consider to have some sort of a adjunct faculty? When we were there, when we were studying way back in the 60s, many of them, Dr. Sulachana Gurishila was one of the visiting faculty, one of the finest faculty we had. Then Dr. Ramu was one of them, Dr. Adikeshwara, like that. Now there are many people who are in practitioners, who are in private hospitals, who are willing to spend their time, not for any money, but share the knowledge to the younger generation, their rich experience, and that is where the statutory authorities are with Dr. Nagesh, who is in syndicate now, to impress upon the university to have this adjunct faculty, lay more stress on the research classroom facilities, rather than having so many beds, because now treatment also has changed. Many of them have become day care procedures. Why do you need so many beds in a medical college hospital. I think the entire relook is necessary to take us forward in this direction.
Yeah, you make excellent points. Very good. Ramesh.
That's right. It's good that the people now start opening up and what we really lack. Okay? And that's what it's increasing. One or two things, here, medical and engineering, there's a pakka wall, China wall that you can't really cross. But today it's not the case. It's actually interchangeable. And actually you learn more and from each other. That is where we are. If you ask me, is there a mix of academic and industry faculty? I can even go up to 98% now. Really, there's no medical colleges with having a tie-up with them. Absolutely, 95 to 98% no. But if you go to the other points, whether they have the classrooms, almost it comes to 95% yes. The classrooms are there, and no matter what happens, like the software, whether the classrooms are functioning or not, no, really debatable. And with, as Nagesh said rightly, in the recent past 25 years, there's a boom of medical colleges and without a lack of teaching faculty. So therefore, its classrooms are there, but not the actual function that has to go on. And the simulation centers are there because it's made a mandatory to give the sanction for those medical colleges. And libraries are there, and particularly digital libraries are increasing. Even university has a very good digital library and made accessible to everybody. And even private, they do offer to them. And in that way, it is okay. But the mix, as I said, and with industry certainly not there. And another point which I really want to bring at a credit is this: why this again, China wall and between the private and the government? Education is education, where you get it right, and so long as you are adhering to, you can really cater to, and people can get a knowledge, and that is the one which we have to harness. That is not really happening. Even in this, everywhere I am saying only medical college, medical college, medical college. Why not medical institution? So college is a college. So that is where, and we can really open up our mind and go further.
Before I guess Dr. Naveen, I want two of the students to be prepared, one of them for and yes and no. For the audience, please get ready. I want really, this time that we don't take no for an answer. We will identify two people. Anita, tell your team to identify two people. You have to speak up, people. This is part of the, training. You have to speak up, give your views. Very important to hear from you. Okay, go ahead.
To this question, we are in that stage, India is in that stage, especially Karnataka, where there have been a lot of medical colleges which has been just started. And in fact, the government has taken a decision to start a medical college in each and every district possible. For two things. One is not only to increase the MBBS, it's also they feel that they can cater to the patients, that is the clinical aspects. So we are in that stage where there are medical colleges which have just started, and as rightly said, there are classrooms and there are teething difficulties where it comes to teachers coming and really teaching. And this, I feel, it happens more so in this the far districts of Karnataka, basically. And getting as everybody is suggesting, getting a teaching faculty who is interested in a tier 2 or a tier 1 or a city is not a difficulty at all. But if you ask us, as how many of us are ready to go to a tier 2 city and teach them, I think most of us will say not possible. So this is what it is, one. Second thing is mix of academic and industry faculty. Yes, I totally agree with Ramesh sir that it's almost not much, but there are institutions both which are deemed as well as the private institutions as well as the government institutions where they are having some tie-ups with other industries also, because now, as rightly said, there is been exposure and people know, as rightly said, there was a China wall before, which is not there now. Because I see many of the doctors being very, very good with the apps and things like that. Because last day before yesterday, I went to one of this app development, this one, and I was shocked. Really, the mix of both the app as well as the clinician is awesome. So that needs to be done. Simulation centers, yes, there are there. Libraries and digital tools. Now NMC has made it a mandate that they should have it before to start. Overall, I totally agree with again with Ramesh sir about these points.
Thank you, thank you. Who is going to speak now? We have, yeah, please go. Karthik.
Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Karthik. I just graduated my MBBS from MSIM Medical College. Right now I'm preparing for NEET PG. So I'm an optimist. I believe that India is the future. I am strong in that opinion. I'm going to do my PG here. I know the numbers, the sheer exposure is going to make me an incredible clinician. And I know the next 55, 60 years, the next century belongs to India. Having said that, just to touch up on the research aspect of it, I am someone who, our institution incentivized us to do it. In my batch, there are 150 kids, and I think around 60 of us, sent up proposals for ICMR STs, and 20 of us got it. And I know that across Bangalore, in total, I think around 20,000 applications go in every year, and I'm seeing my juniors are taking up more and more. So there is incentive, but that's the problem, right? So we get a stipend for that, but majority of the institutions expect you to spend your own money to get the lab work and that. And we're all focusing on basic science research. There is nothing cutting edge that we're doing. Of course, that's how we start, but we're starting with the basic, and at least that I'm happy about, because I know for a fact that a lot of us did participate in basic clinical research, and I know that's how we start. So the ICMR STS project has been great, and lots of us have had exposure with that. With reference to classroom and teaching, I think the online tools that have come in have actually democratized a lot of the knowledge we have gained. The apps in the market are doing an incredible job in giving us access to great information. So yeah, I understand a medical college is meant to provide an opportunity. It's meant to give you the degree. If there's a public-private partnership and all of that happens, I'm sure we'll do a great job. So that's why I'm an optimist. So we have a long way to go, but we're there. We're going to get there.
So how, yeah.
Sorry, I represent university, so I need to make some things. Please. I travel most part of the country many times as an examiner and then visit many medical colleges. Of course, the question, do our medical colleges have necessary infrastructure? All this is yes, in patches. There are many, many great medical colleges I've seen which has everything. I agree with Karthik that today classrooms, libraries and digital tools, libraries don't matter to most of our students. In our time, we need to go in search of a book in a library. Now everything is available on the mobile. It doesn't matter whether we have it or not. Again, industry and academic faculty would want to stress upon something. See, when laparoscopy was started in this country in 1991, how did we all get to do laparoscopy in district headquarters and government medical colleges? It's all because of industry participation. It has always been there. We have, as I said, money for research. This is there. Now apps are there. I think it's only up to us to find it out, or somebody like you to connect between that industry and the students. Or as Karthik said, these digital tools are making a lot of a difference in education. I think instead of blaming those colleges or these things, I think people like you should focus on the newer apps, newer education tools and all that. I think this makes a huge difference. We are no more dependent on physical infrastructure.
So I have a question on that, both you and you represent the university. So I think this always bothers when you look at the medical education in India. Do you think time has come to dismantle this 10-acre, 15-acre?
It's no more existence. It's only 5 acres now. It's only 5 acres now.
25 acres.
5 acres.
And do we have to say virtual is more, all that?
It's already there. So for example, Rajiv Gandhi University is setting up simulation centers in 5 districts of Karnataka. We've partitioned
So, as you look at the future, where industry and academics all match, like I always say, there is nothing like a service, cancer service or anything. It is academic research, all have to go one. If you don't do that, you are not a credible institution. So I think that is where we are headed, including the degrees we give, DM, DNB, what is the difference? Will all be same in terms of going forward?
It's all same.
Equal.
It's all equal. It's all same. Considered by NMC, MCA for last 10 years.
So why is it people still aspire to go for DM instead of DNB?
It is the charming personally.
Maybe that's a message you have to send, because
Yes.
in my view, DNBs also work very hard. They really work. We see it in our hospitals. So why should there be any distinction? And also, a lot of medical colleges charge a hell of a fee for DM. So.
Sir, I think post-COVID, healthcare has been, education, care, everything has seen a different various gem in this country. Pre-COVID, we had great hospitals and we had great institutes. There was no marriage between the two. Bangalore Medical College, for example, I was head of the Department of Surgical Gastroenterology for more than 10 years. We were a great institute. We were poor hospitality center. Then we have great hospitals, like corporate hospitals, which are great hospitals and hospitality centers, and with a lot of resources. I don't know, somehow this is the time where somebody comes and gets these two married, because you have great number of clinical material, chance for research, there is no money. You have great industry partnership, great amount of newer technology coming in, newer this thing coming in. I think the forward ways to marry these two. University has taken a lot of steps. Last decade, we moved a proposal to tie up with MD Anderson has come up with that research proposal.
Why should we go to foreign country?
Anybody can come.
We should do here.
We are sitting with 1,500
Honestly,
crores.
we have to think of our own. We have phenomenal
We
infrastructure.
lack people coming with ideas. We are lacking people.
So many ideas.
Anybody can come. Anybody can present to the university.
Develop that exchange.
No, I think just to add to what both are discussing, sir. So basically, we Indians have never been, advertisers. Let us be the fact. That is a fact. There's so much of, be it architectural marvel, be it any place, be it our medical. We have never advertised ourselves to the world the way we should. That's where I feel we are lacking. We never presented ourselves. We have wonderful doctors. That is what I feel, sir. Basically,
The only thing, doctor, is we lack the data.
see that data is there, sir. We lack the documentation.
No, that's what I mean. When you say data documentation, we don't have.
And,
Follow-ups, we don't have. Because we did a study to show breast cancer treatment in our doctors is equal to best of centers in the world. But we should publish it properly.
Exactly, sir. As you all know, we have been talking this since ages. That we have a lot of data. Lot of material is there. We don't have data, and if you look at it, still that's where exactly the industry will come into picture. That's where app comes into picture. You just make a file documentation that should give you the stage. It should be so clinical friendly, user friendly. That's where there can be a marriage, as you were saying. What Manish was saying. That's a very, very good area what you said. I totally agree with you.
Okay. Now, Govind, you want to make any comment? Before we go to the next question? Yeah, I'll come to this. And there is one more, yeah.
So I think the thing about the inclination and support for research, it has always been there. Like when I was in school, I studied in the central school, which is next to Indian Institute of Science. We had something called the NCET. So I did my first project with IISc in 10th standard, and fortunately I continued doing it. But I think our teachers also are important in showing us the way. In 10th standard, I wouldn't have known that we could go and do that. I was lucky that my biology teacher showed them. But one thing is, we don't have dedicated time for research. And even if you want to do, there's no incentive. People may try to pull you down. That is a problem. But Rajiv Gandhi has really given us a grant. In fact, I got a grant from Rajiv Gandhi to do a joint work with IISc, and we got out 4 papers out of that in 2 years. So I think those opportunities are there. We need to look at it and use the opportunities. So now that you said you have a lot of grants, I'll come.
Suresh.
I think partially I agree with Govind Babu sir. The exposure is there. See, when I was doing MBBS, I wanted to do MD medicine because I was very inspired by one of my teacher in medicine. I just loved the way he teaching. I think that inspiration we always took in MBBS days. Another thing is there is a big gap between Bangalore and Ballari. When I did MBBS, I wanted to take MD medicine. I spoke to all my seniors and teachers. Everybody said, even though fees is more, you take in Bangalore. Now, we are doing this meeting in Bengaluru. How many of the students studying in Ballari really know about this? So that gap, I think the apps like this and something that has to be done. Now, person sitting in MBBS and doing in Ballari will not know. Like, for example, I know I can travel to Hyderabad in 1 hour because I know flight will travel. The person who doesn't know there is a flight will never say that we can travel. So that exposure can happen only with this. I believe that gap of metro and non-metro has to be filled, I believe. Infrastructure, I think, as sir told, it's there. Only that awareness has to be built. Thank you.
Sir. Yeah, but before that, there's one other. Yeah, please identify yourself.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Vivek Joshi. I'm a final year medical student at Bangalore Medical College and Research Institute. Hello, sir. It was wonderful to hear from Karthik, Dr. Karthik and Dr. Nagesh and the rest of the dignitaries. But I felt as a representative from government institute, my point would be valid to present. So I am integral part of leadership groups in Medical Students Association of India and Indian Medical Association. I think the role that these organizations are playing, especially at the undergraduate level, are totally underrated for now. So my experience with the lack of infrastructure, especially with research grants and the incentives, is when we recently conducted a conference in our college. Some of the friends that studied with me in my pre-university had to call me. They do not have access to basic journals. I'm talking about students from Gadag, Raichur Medical College, government medical colleges. They do not have access to basic journals, international journals that can help them know how exactly medical research works. And some journals, when I am researching, I have to contact my friends in AIMS where they have better access to such research journals. So it's not just about research journals; it's also about infrastructure among patient availability, testing facilities, etc. So whenever the complicated cases come to our hospitals, mostly they are shifted to specialty centers like Jaideva, Nimans, etc. And how do you expect us to compete with global healthcare workers when we do not have exposure to such such level of patient community? So that is again a question. When it is hard to find a simple ulcer and varicose case in the surgery ward, it's hard to compete with global healthcare workers who are dealing with complicated laparoscopic surgeries. So this is what I feel. It's good to be optimistic, but I think the gap between private colleges and government colleges is huge, especially the research and infrastructure.
Points. We'll run out of time, but actually you have one quickly, and then we have 2 more questions we have to finish.
So actually this is a very good session because it is highlighting some of the very important points we are facing at present. Now exactly the point my previous orator told, that there is a huge disparity between the government and the private. Like some of the private institutions, especially I work in INI-CET, we are using the latest technology in the world because we have that facility, so we use the machines which are at par with the international standard. Even somewhere something is more than many of the European or American places. Now that facility is not available everywhere. If we see today, we are using the most latest technology in radiotherapy, whereas in government institutions still we are using cobalt. So there is a huge disparity.
I beg to differ.
But sir, that facility definitely helps us more when we have all the latest technologies in places, which is not available everywhere.
But the thing is, there is definitely parity now. A lot of autonomous government, Kidwai, for example, tremendous work they are doing, and they have brought the technology to on par with the world. I think today that is not an issue anymore. But maybe in tier 3 cities and all, still there are lacking. We need more Linge and others. That's a different story. That may be the reason. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Can we go to the next question?
Sure.
Do the MBBS students get sufficient hands-on clinical training during the academic journey?
So please scan the QR code against the chair and we'll start getting on the point.
While they are doing it, I'll quickly ask, because we need to move quickly, Dr. Nagesh, can you maybe touch on that quickly? What is your view?
I say yes and no. In some of the institutions, they are getting. But remember, an institution with 250 intake of MBBS students, with nearly 200 or 250 clinical students, postgraduate students, and a few hundreds super specialty, even if the entire part of that city, all the population goes to the hospital for checkup, even then you don't get. Because you are internees, third year students, final year students, postgraduate students, 3 years, then super specialty, I think we are lacking. It is time to put a cap on number of intake at the MBBS level so that we will have a quality training. The quality clinical training is more important to later on become good clinicians and use the technologies for the better.
I'm a little bit surprised that majority say they're not getting hands-on clinical training.
It's not a surprise. It's really not a surprise.
Huh?
It's not really not a surprise.
That
That's a
clinical
reality.
training
That's
is
a
the
really
best
reality.
thing.
In fact, no, I'm only surprised. Only is that the correct? It will be much more. That's
But,
true. The Nagesh has really pointed out very well. For the past 25 years, we have grown in medical, bringing out the medical graduates, both the undergraduates and postgraduates, in a like a mushrooming way, without any enough number of facilities available. Institution is not only medical college, even the other institutions. It is not there. So therefore, you don't get right. I said, where are the patients there? Unless institutions say, hold the patient come. So they don't have exposure.
Maybe one of the students who said yes can justify that. Please, are you saying yes? You can, somebody raise a hand. Or whatever you say, please go ahead. Yeah, yeah. Can somebody quickly, we'll see.
Myself, Chirag, I'm a final year medical student at SSMC. I feel that we are not getting sufficient hands-on clinical training experience. That is because whenever we are in MBBS, like they mostly emphasize on the theoretical classes. Like for example, we have postings only up till 12 o'clock, not above that. We have to go back to the classes. So classes are given more importance. And when it comes to clinic, as sir said, the intake is very high. 150 to 200 students if we are there, then obviously the amount of people who is being distributed in the wards is less. And of course, I think I need to mention that like there is a lot of competition between us as final year students, interns, PGs, everybody is there in a line to examine the patient. So when this comes
So
up,
you don't get enough hands-on training.
not only that, sir, yeah, I need to say that we will not be able to get enough time to examine the patient, or the clinical training is lacking in that manner.
Is it because of lack of patients, or lack of faculty teaching you, or is it lack of you not attending? What is it? There are a lot of neighborhood cafes in Ramayana and in our school. We find students at 10:30 with white coats in the cafes. So what is the actual reason?
Sir, I feel it's a lack of patience there.
Oh, very interesting. Lack of patience.
Like the patient number is not so high so that all can, in private institutes like ours, we won't get so much patient inflow for examining. And the most important thing is time, sir. Like if we don't get enough amount of time in the hospital to spend with the patients, then obviously we will not be able to get a sufficient hands-on training.
Very interesting. Yeah, yeah, please go ahead. Finally, you're all speaking now. Wake up.
So, good evening. I'm Ashant from SSMC Tumkur, intern right now. So, actually, with respect to the clinical training, to be honest, from the student side, in the initial years, every time it's we have to concentrate more on clearing the exams. That's all they are concentrating, just clearing the
Get
exams.
your pass done.
Yes, from the seniors, from faculties, everyone, everywhere, all around India and everywhere, my friends in my hometown or other places, we just ask, they just tell, clear your exams. But we have to get the clinical skills right, clinical skills done. A checklist kind of thing is there even by NMC, even by each and every university. I'm not telling no. Yes, we do have OSCE sessions, yes, we do have skill lab sessions and simulation sessions, but I would like to tell that connecting the previous question and this one, there is an interlink, there is a gap. What happens is the people, the faculties who are interested, really interested to make the things easy and clear for people are not always allotted. It's just randomly allotted. And coming to student side, once we get into internship or once they get into final year or maybe in the postgraduate sessions only, they are understanding the importance of clinical skills, what has to be done. So I feel each and every year, yes, we do have this stuff, but they have to emphasize more on those skills and making sure people get it right. Instead of just because for example, to be frank, yes, we have a simple measurement of BP by palpatory or auscultatory method. People literally suffer in the final exams due to this stress. Instead of that, what I'm trying to tell is they have to make sure they're getting it right. That fear has to go. A basic skill and many more are there.
Got it. Thank you. We should record all this, put it out in the proceedings. Actually, you are.
Okay. This honestly comes down to time. Right? What is
I think we all have enough time, Karthik. If somebody says I'm busy, there's something wrong with them. We don't even use 25% of our brain capacity, I believe. So we all have time. How we allot it is the question.
Absolutely. The thing is, this clinical exposure, again, we're undergraduates. It must be very clear what's expected from an undergraduate. It's to learn the basics. As soon as you enter internship, you're spending 365 days in a hospital. You will see and do most things that are needed for an MBBS doctor. Beyond that, you have post-graduation. Again, once post-graduation is done, you won't come out as a surgeon. I think most people miss the point. Med school is meant to give you exposure to 19 subjects and give you an idea of what you need to focus on. It's not about learning everything in those 6 years. It's about getting exposed.
So are you saying when you finish an MBBS, you are not expected to be a good clinician?
The expectation is to understand the basics.
But not a clinician.
I don't think you can learn being a clinician.
What about the days when people are family practitioners, MBBS, they are not good clinicians? Or they learn by experience?
I'm sure majority of the skill set come from experience. 6 months in a good place with good patient load will teach you everything.
I don't agree with that. Anyway, let us see. I think when you're done your MBBS, you should be a good solid clinician to make general diagnosis.
I think
what to make hernia, appendix, pneumonia diagnosis. You may not be able to make aneurysm diagnosis or anything, but you should be able to make fundamental diseases, I think so. But Nagesh, what do you think?
Probably what Karthik was trying to say is, if I'm not wrong, you learn that clinical exposure in that 1 year of your internship. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
I think this is not this problem, that problem, his problem, anybody's problem.
All of it.
So 1970s, 1980s, we had most of the doctors were MBBS doctors.
Yes.
Less number of clinicians, more number of patients, and only that was the end. And we were supposed to do everything. And then we had surgeons in 70s and 80s who used to do appendix, neurosurgery, cardiac surgery, everything. So world has changed. World has gone into super specialization. And even if you learn, I call this as an environmental problem. It has nothing to do with the teachers, nothing to do with the students, nothing to do with the number of patients, whatever. So environment is changing. Now we have super specializations, technology emerging for everything, for every disease. In terms of diseases, in terms of organs, in terms of heart, for example, heart, you have somebody meant for right heart, somebody meant for left heart, to be more precise. So this is one problem. From the student point of view, I've been training MCH students for the last 25 years. We've trained more than 100. The initial batch of students and this batch of students, there's a huge difference. In terms of spending time, applications, fighting for the rights and comfort of the work, it is not their problem either. We are different generations. Third thing, when somebody is doing MBBS, even if you give them 100 cases, because of the environmental situation of the country, most of them are bothered about preparing for the NEET. They are tied up with most of the private coaching center. From second MBBS, your mind isn't NEET. So how can you think about coming and working in the hospital if there's a patient? Fourth thing, because it is super specialist doing, we don't expect them to do much either, and we support them to prepare for the future. And most of them spend 2 years doing nothing, no salary, nothing. So it's an environmental problem.
Gap.
I think gap.
Gaps.
Somewhere everybody has to work in. We can't complain against each other. I think this is where we need to.
No, I think
We have, don't you think that we have really, gone ahead from clinical to only the theory, technique, and technology? Because look at earlier when we were studying, LMP was the one which was talked about. LMP people, that's a licensed medical, they were the persons who were very good clinicians, but theory knowledge was not there. But practically they were very good. They were doing everything.
Years ago, I was giving a talk in Washington. One of the famous investor from Vinod Khosla, who lives in Palo Alto, billions. He told me after my talk, his talk was next. While coming up on the podium, we were crossing. Doctor, I will run you out of business in few years. Oof, I will make the diagnosis of cancer. He said, just oof, that's all. So we don't need doctors. That was his statement. So all I am saying is you're right. We are moving towards that. Suresh, you.
I think, sir, just on that Nagesh sir point. See, when we were studying in MBBS school, I think he was telling me he's from Siddhartha Medical College. I was also from Siddhartha Medical College. We had a lot of patients. My professor was there. His name was Butturangappa. He used to travel a car. If he see me in the road, he used to stop the car and say, Suresh, I have admitted a case in bed number 4. Kindly examine and come and discuss. That rapport we had. Another thing, as sir was telling that previously the villages and all, whoever GP used to see any complicated case, they used to refer to medical college. Now they no longer refer. They refer to Jayadeva, they refer to Kidwai directly. So the medical colleges has to develop that super specialty level to attract that patient. See, now if any gastro comes, everybody knows there is a gastro center in Victoria.
No,
they refer
also,
that.
not only referral, patients demand.
Yes.
They go to Google, they search
Yes.
and all.
So that's the change I see, because that's why now Siddhartha Medical College, catering is limited to medicine only. What after cardiology, other things, they don't know. So any cardiology is there, they will come to Jayadeva. Any gastro will come to gastro. Any oncology will come to Kidwai. That's how the cases have been drying up, I believe. Yeah.
No, you are absolutely right. They bypass it because of. Okay, we are running out of time. We'll go to the last question, and very interesting. Do the medical colleges and affiliated hospitals have a strong system in place to support research? We already talked a little bit. Innovation, interdisciplinary medical advancements. A quick poll. So, while they are saying, I will make some, let me see the poll and make comments. Okay, we have majority no. Yeah, I agree with that. We talked about it a little bit, but I have a strong view on this. I feel today if India can do research in various specialties, not just basic research, innovation research, startups. See, we have to encourage each one of you, medical students, doctors, interns. Why can't we go into some innovation of your own? How can you use data, the digitization we have, so many technology, genomics, gene mutations. How can you do concomitant fellowships? How can you come up with your own ideas, innovation? So many startups are there. I just read this. So out of 9,000 startups in India, majority are closing down because they don't get enough support. Particularly in medical field, I think these kind of ideas, startups are very important. It should start in the medical colleges. You should come up with ideas. You watch as you are studying. To me, one of the message I want to send is why certain things happen. We always discuss in the tumor board. Dr. Ramesh is there, Bhattacharya. If a cancer is treated for 2 people, I just want to say this for your long-term view and reflection. If a patient doesn't respond, you need to understand with this why they are not responding. 2 people with same disease. Why? Instead of that, as doctors, what I find with your training, first thing the doctor says is, I'll go to second line of treatment. Second line didn't work, third line of treatment. Man, not understanding why the disease has come back. Where was he failure? Why is it chemo resistant? Why is it radio resistant or surgically, what was the issue? Margins clear, not clear. So those are the important things that creates you to become a researcher and innovator. I think that to me is lacking in our thinking. We have become, subservient to protocols, things which are in place. How can you treat a lung, for example, a tongue cancer knowing 60% will recur? You can say that is a protocol, but protocol is a guideline. Can we use that to improve? So I think this is where research, innovation, proper data, but we don't have enough enthusiasm. People are not coming forward. But for example, in HCG, we have 10 crores annual for research, which I had. But very few of our own doctors, DMPs, make an application for research. We have 61 research going on, but very few apply. We encourage them to apply. They don't want to. They want to be just 9 to 5 clinicians, see patients, come back and see more patients, volume based. So I think we need to collect data, we need to collect outcomes, we need to really go forward on this. In this regard, any final comments, Dr. Naveen, you want to make? Just quick comments.
I totally agree with you, sir, because the any research idea starts with why it has happened so. So I totally agree with you. Protocols are just recommendations that needs to be taken as a recommendation. That so need not be the sole thing. So once we ask why, then that's where the research starts. That's where you get an answer, and that answer you can develop and become a good, not only a good clinician, even a clinician too. I would like to say this.
So really, I want to tell you an anecdote. Years ago in Delhi, big head and neck conference. In India is the home of head and neck cancer. Head and neck cancer, we are asking a person from India and so what do you think, how should we treat? And you know what the guy answered? You guys should teach me because you are the most head and neck cancer. We are totally lacking in that initiative, whether it is because of 200 years of British rule or whatever, we have lost the confidence in ourselves. One thing I want to tell you all, please send the message. You are great doctors, you could be, have that confidence and pride in yourself to drive this. I think we will become excellent clinicians and excellent researchers. The natural DNA ingredients are there in us. There is no doubt. Ramesh?
Yeah, that's right. I don't repeat the same or whatever that you said. I fully endorse that. And only 2 points I just emphasize. Research doesn't mean that it has to be only basic research and no facility, I can't do anything. That is not necessarily the case. Whatever that you do today, can I do something better tomorrow and day after? That is also a research. Do not go and see, oh, only when that happens, only that equipment comes, I will do the research. The day will never come. So therefore, whatever that you are doing, even in your studies, if you are doing your studies today, if I absorb 10% of that, tomorrow can I do 10.5% absorption in that? That's a research. Why don't you do that? So like that, there are many things within ourselves. Whatever is available, we can do that. We'll have to just say, yes, it is possible. That's number one. Number two, the dogma of the moment a research, the industry enters into the medical institutions, it's all financial, that idea should go off. Otherwise, it will never flourish. If you want to have both that kind of a help, financial help, you will have to marry these industries and engineering people into medical system and coexist along with them and get the help of that. These are the 2 points I just mentioned.
The ICMR is giving a grant for research at undergraduate level to ignite the minds of the youngsters. Even if we identify 1% of our MBBS students and get him or her into the research field and support both the institutions, universities and the governments, I'm sure that in the next 10 years, we will be able to produce so many Nobel laureates. We have that, as Ajaikumar said, we have that genetic strong background of learning capacity. Only we don't advertise ourselves or we don't project ourselves. So such young minds to be supported by all of us so that India can be proud to say that in the next 10 years we are going to have 5 Nobel laureates or 10 Nobel laureates, bringing in all disciplines together. Let us break the dogma of having unilateral, one-sided research. Let it be translational research, let it be multidisciplinary research to bring the better results in the field of medical and associate fields. Actually, I was a 12th man. I was happily sitting on as an audience. Anita made me to defect to the stage. Hope I've done good job, or at least not a bad job as a 12th.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, you want to make any comments? Please. Any comments?
As you said, I think it's all amazing to hear. I'm a 25-year teacher now. Now if I switch on to research, I would stop, my wife and kids would stop. So I think, but compared to last 15 years now, one good thing about the world is economics has married science. When we were students, there used to be a research spending billions of dollars, and we used to look at the data saying that it's only 25% responsive, and it used to fail, get dumped, and people are willing to lose those millions of dollars. But today, due to technology and everything, so now they invest money, you do research, and then they identify those 25% of the patients who are benefited, and it's driven. That's why I say economics and science has married. I think now the environment has really been created across the world. Even if you find something valuable to 25% of the patients, they can be reached, and this can be utilized, and somebody to push it. I think young minds like IISc has started this college. I think more college should marry science and technology. Unless you get that bent of mind from first MBBS, you can't. You're more worried about your food and bread and lunch. I think we need to get in there. It's no more a starving thing. I think we should work towards that.
Yeah, I think very good points. But any other points anybody want to comment? Students, anybody? If not, we will now conclude our thing. I see Dr. Linge has come. Sorry, we are concluding. You want to say anything? Doctor, you want to make any comment? So we are about to conclude. Yeah, it's about, maybe you can make few comments about medical education and how do you see a lot of points were discussed. This is one question, maybe you can address that.
Thank you, dear Ajay. Sorry for the delay. I've taken multiple transportation to reach this place just because of my prior commitment with Anita. There's a lot of scope. In fact, I have traveled multiple journey, oncology journey with Ajay at Kidwai. After that, I was in university. Of course, what the legends knows. Now I am Vice-Chancellor in Siddhartha University. Especially for this NEET, multiple confusion is there for all of you. One thing is we have to keep updating. Otherwise, because the way whether it is state government or government of India changing the rules, multiple levels, when it's changed from now to NMC, earlier to MCI, we have to keep monitoring. And there is a lot of scope. And the good thing is people are coming from outside the country to India. That is because of the standard what we have. What we have made, in fact, not only in engineering background. In fact, one of the UGC meeting, few weeks back, we were just mentioning, probably after 3-4 years, unlike the software, it is going to be the teaching industry which is going to take the upper role. So it has got a major chunk to play. I'm happy to see all my senior guys here. Thank you. I'll be there always with you. In fact, I referred several people to Anita to call. I hope a lot of people have joined. Naveen, Nagesh, and thank you.
Yeah, we can go. Thanks, sir. Thank you, and we look forward to As a team, we should all work to conclude. If there are no other questions, Suresh, you are.
Yes, I just want to share a story. Like when I was studying in Cancer Institute at Chennai, the founder was there. His name was Dr. Krishnamurthy. He was the first oncosurgeon in India. He had one of the physician. His name was Dr. Rajkumar, who was a medical oncologist. So Rajkumar became a researcher in his life. He did PhD in molecular oncology, went to UK. So I just asked him, why did you become researcher? So Rajkumar told me one day he finished his rounds in medical oncology. He was having coffee. Dr. Krishnamurthy came to him and asked him, what did you do, Rajkumar? Rajkumar said, sir, today I saw some 50 OPDs and there are 100 inpatients. Then he asked, in your life as a clinician, how many patients you can see? Then he said he calculated roughly maybe 50 to 75,000 are in life. Then Krishnamurthy told him, if you become a researcher and you do one research, you can change the life of crores. Now you decide whether you want to change the life of thousands or you want to change the life of crores. It's up to you. Then he left. Then next day, Rajkumar left the Cancer Institute, went to UK. He did PhD in molecular oncology, came back and did research. So end of the day, that inspirations make us to go into research. Research is something very novel thing which you can look into. Thank you.
I think it's a very good point. Thanks a lot. Very good. And with this, we can conclude. Okay.
Thank you, honorable panelists, for your valuable time and the active participation of the audience as well in this very dynamic roundtable. So now, actually, we will be moving on to a small talk that will be given now. So, an effective learning platform is built on the needs and perspective of its users, the students who navigate that app daily. It's essential to listen to their insights. We are pleased to welcome Mr. Vivek Joshi, a final year MBBS student at Bangalore Medical College and Research Institute, to share his thoughts on the digital shift in medical education, strengths, shortcomings, and student perspectives. Over to you, Mr. Vivek.
Good evening, everyone, to the dignitaries on the stage and all my friends in the audience. I think we've discussed a lot of things in the panel discussion already, thanks to all the esteemed guests for shedding light on major aspects about digital learning. I think you've heard my introduction, but still, just introduce once again. I am Vivek Joshi, now still a doctor. Final year medical student in Bangalore Medical College and Research Institute. I come from a very humble background, from a suburban area, Shira, where digital learning was a dream 3-4 years back. And now we have access to a lot of platforms which not only are helping learn about medical sciences, but also explore research and stuff. Besides research and academics, my interests are mental health advocacy and public health volunteering. So yeah, I would like to talk a few things from students' perspectives about why this digital shift is happening and why we prefer digital learning platforms over classrooms. Just a question to start: how many of you attend theory classes in colleges just for attendance sake? Audience, students in the audience, can you please raise hands? All of you? Yeah, I think this question justifies why this shift was required. So it's mainly about the accessibility and flexibility concept. You can sit, you can rest on your chair in the room in your hostel or at your home and still study all the required concepts for your exams. So accessibility and convenience are major aspects why we are driving towards digital education. And of course, the innovative pedagogy that each digital platform offers, be it about the Q banks that we have, be it about the interactive learning aspects that each platform is offering. So we will definitely be interested in interactive learning and activity-based learning. So that is one thing that is driving us. And not just digital platforms, but there are interfaces like the MCM program, the Millennium Fellowship, and there are student organizations like MSA and IMA, which are providing opportunities on digital platform for seminars, for student discussion, Q&A, etc. This is helping us for a collaborative learning, a comprehensive learning towards clinical cases and integration with ongoing research. What I feel are the shortcomings of digital learning, as we just discussed, skill deficits. It's totally different to listen to a class of hernia management online and then go back to the hospital and handle that case in the OT. So these two are two different things, and the gap that exists between digital learning and hands-on experience in the OT can never be filled. So that is one thing that we all should know. And of course, the human element factor, the doubt solving is not a great thing to do through online. Again, all of us have experienced this discipline building. It's very hard to sit for like 3-4 hours every day in front of your screen to reach your targets, to make the necessary learning. So I think these are a few shortcomings that the online platforms should address from students' perspective. Just to conclude, what exactly we expect from any online digital platform as a student, some basic things: accurate and credible information. The last thing that we want is our HOD screening us for saying something that is wrong that we learned from online platform. So yeah, accuracy and credible information through any online platform is something that we expect as a basic thing. Student-centric design. Our attention span has decreased largely recently, and to listen to hours-long lectures is very tough. So I feel it's not just informative stuff, but engaging and motivating aspects in a lecture is more important. That drives us to complete the lecture, to reach the targets, should be included in any online platform that we use. And of course, hybrid models always has a cutting edge, because anybody who wants to prefer to go and attend on-ground classes, classroom sessions, would definitely want to choose hybrid models. So hybrid models that can help us learn both online and offline would be fantastic. Just to conclude, digital education is not screens versus stethoscope. It is definitely stethoscope through screens. So thank you once again. Gratitude from students community to GHA for taking one step towards STEP. That is the app that they are launching. I would definitely be excited and interested to explore the app once it's launched. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Have a wonderful evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much. I request the dignitaries to kindly remain on the stage as we now officially unveil the app interface. I request the team to kindly put up the stand on the stage as we will officially launch.
ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡಿಸಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬಂದುಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ ನಿಮಿಷ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ವಾಲ್ ತಿಳಿಸ್ಕೊಟ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ನೋಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ನಾನು ಬಂದುಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ, 6 ಗಂಟೆ ಬಂದು ಮೇಲೆ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ.
Dignitaries to kindly come up and unveil the official app interface. Thank you, honorable dignitaries. Kindly please take it. We'll now have a very short video on our new GHA STEP app. I'm very excited to unveil the same to you all.
Are you ready? Imagine if exam preparation were measured as clearly as distance on a map. STEP does exactly that. Just as a kilometer tells you how far you've traveled, STEP shows in real time how much of the 19-subject journey you have conquered and how much still lies ahead. Open the app and the first thing you notice is the countdown. Days to the exam above a rising tally of completed steps. Each step is a 4-beat micro lesson. It starts with a quick retest of past year questions to pinpoint your baseline, flows into a precision-cut video that hits only high-yield concepts, follows with a post-test to log the learning, and finishes with a crisp concept box. Notes you can revise before the lift reaches your floor. Finish the loop, one more step lights up, and the odometer rolls forward. Behind those elegant screens lies a powerful blend of tech and teaching. A micro-learning engine breaks the syllabus into 5-minute bursts that slide effortlessly between clinics, wards, and commutes. An AI-driven calendar reshuffles your schedule when life throws you a night shift. So the master plan never slips. And because medicine is still human at its core, every student is paired with a live mentor who reads the dashboards, spots weak spots, and guides the next move. Content without context is just noise. STEP marries data, design, and doctor-to-doctor coaching to turn that noise into measurable progress, one clear, countable step at a time. Welcome to preparation you can see, feel, and trust.
Every great leap starts with a single spark, and ours was when our director, Mrs. Anita Niranjan, saw a gaping need in postgraduate medical prep. She imagined an ecosystem that would guide every MBBS graduate from confusion to confidence. She took that vision in our chairman, Dr. B.S. Ajaikumar, and together they said, "Let's build it." Then the mountain appeared. 19 subjects, 20 plus top tier professors needed, and zero room for compromise. Finding brilliant experts is one thing, finding those who can translate brilliance into exam ready clarity is another. After nearly hundreds of demo lectures and peer reviews, we handpicked the faculty roster that any medical college would envy. But great teaching needs great content, so we assembled a content team of MBBS graduates, each one battle tested by our own entrance exam and interview panel. They write, revise, and fact check the surgeons and the doctors because quality isn't an option, it's our oath. Next came technology, the only way to reach every hostel room in every corner in India in record time. Our tech team coded a platform that streams high definition lectures on a 2G line, tracks progress like an ICU monitor, and never blinks. To keep us honest, we found a leadership council of recent NEET PG toppers. They spot the gaps, fine-tune the mocks, and even help choose new faculty, ensuring that we stay student-centered forever. Behind the scenes, a media crew, marketing squad, and tireless support staff turn code and content into the app you have already seen tonight. From zero to launch, this has been a relay, and every baton change mattered. And we're just warming up. Gamified question battles similar to hackathon for engineers, AI-driven study plans, and one-on-one mentorship in a real-time doubt rooms are already in the lab, because learning should be engaging without ever losing its edge. Also, we are delighted to announce the launch of USMLE program, inspired by our chairman, Dr. Ajaikumar, who himself crossed continents to reach the US 50 years ago for training and practicing, built resources yet did not forget his roots, and returned to India to build world-class hospitals serving millions of Indians. We are now open to those international doors for you. We are delighted to announce the launch of the GHA USMLE pathway as well, a comprehensive program designed to guide Indian doctors from first step to residency match in the United States. It is not a distant dream. Every building block already exists within GHA. We are simply aligning them for your journey. From mentorship by US residents, research and publication support by HCG, conference presentations, opportunities at GHA conferences, volunteering experiences in medical camps, as well as US clinical rotations. We provide the end-to-end solutions. Welcome to the next chapter of your professional journey, and welcome to GHA STEP USMLE. I'm Dr. Nisarg Aravindan. I'm the faculty for Preventive and Social Medicine in GHA STEP platform, and I couldn't be prouder to stand with this team. We began at 0. Tonight we hit our first milestone. With your support, we sprint all the way to 100 and beyond. Thank you for all of you for being with us on this next journey of Indian medical education. So we have a few lists of our faculties, our entire team, and then the IT infrastructure team as well. So for that, I request the dignitaries to kindly come up on the stage as we have a team picture with our entire GHA staff as well. I humbly request that the dignitaries please come on stage for the same. I request the GHA team please come up here for a group picture, please.
Sir, in the sir, photographer, sir.
It is my pleasure to introduce the dedicated team behind the PG NEET program. Each member has contributed their expertise and commitment to bring this initiative to fruition. We are honored to present their efforts today. Dr. Nisarg Aravindan, Dr. Riya Sahu, Dr. Shalini H.V., Dr. Manvi Raj, Arjun Shetty, Pasupati Surya, Dr. Sharavati S.S., Ram Iyengar, Rohan B.S., Yashwant P.K., and Monish H.P.
One more. Sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Provide a small token of appreciation by giving his biography. Along with the book, we have a cute small phone stand with our GSA insignia as well. Thank you once again, sir. It was a pleasure. Our stand there, just outside the venue. I'll also be happy to interact with each one of you if you have any discussions about the app or what you can expect from it. Thank you once again. It wouldn't have been possible. It's all for you guys. So thank you once again. Hope it was useful.